Hello everyone! So it is time for the next How to Move to Norway video. It has been a while again. And now it is time to talk about the actual physical move and everything that involves picking yourself up in your home country and physically moving to Norway. So in this video I really wanted to talk about moving your furniture, like moving your belongings, like what is the best way to move everything that you own or everything that you want to take with you to Norway. And then in the coming two videos we're going to talk about pets. That's a very interesting topic. And then in the third part we're going to talk about cars, which is a very confusing and difficult part. But today we are going to talk about moving furniture. And I'm going to give you some resources, some options, and I'm also going to tell you what we did. So you might even think that this video is only interesting to you if you have like a lot of furniture to move or a lot of boxes, or you might just think, oh, I just have like a backpack and I will jump on the airplane with like just what I have in my backpack, or I will just move with everything I can stuff into my car and I will buy everything I need in Norway. Then there's still some interesting things for you in this video too, because you can't just import everything just like that into Norway. If you are moving, like if you are in the process of relocating, the rules are a lot less strict than, for example, if you have been on a holiday and you want to buy a lot of stuff abroad and then bring it into Norway because it is cheaper that way, and then you have to pay import taxes on most things. But if you're actually moving, you can show that you are relocating yourself, then a lot of stuff that you are moving is like toll-free or tax-free. However, you can't just move everything. There's a lot of restrictions on, for example, food. You can't just load your backpack with food and move everything, move with everything to Norway. So I'm going to give you some links in the description box on very interesting websites of the Norwegian government that you should check out. And if you want to bring something upon moving to Norway, you can always check, is it allowed for me to move this thing, and will I have to pay taxes on this thing if I move it? So most of these rules will apply to things like food and plants and seeds and that kind of stuff, animals, which I will talk about in the next video, and then of course alcohol. So these are the most, like, not important things, but these are things that you should check out, like what are the exact rules. You can't just move a whole truck of wine, for example. So first of all, check out the description box for the links of the websites where you can check everything out about foods, where you can check everything out about plants, because you're only allowed like a certain amount of plants. I forgot the exact number, but I think you're allowed like 5 plants or so, or 10 plants. It's not much. So if you're like a plant parent, then you have to make some difficult decisions here, like which plants will you bring along with you and which plants you will sadly have to leave behind or donate to your friends and family. So that aside, let's talk about actual furniture and boxes full of stuff. For us personally, it would prove to be more expensive to sell the furniture and the stuff we had secondhand and then buying everything new in Norway. So we quite a lot, we invested in nice stuff. So we decided that it would be much better if we moved everything we owned with us to Norway. We did live in a small apartment, so I can imagine if you live in a very big house that it's an operation on a whole different level than like our little apartment. But still. So the first thing you have to know, of course, that goes not for only moving to another country, that moves moving in general. You have to know how much stuff are we talking about. Like every moving company, or even if you're going to do it yourself, you have to know how many square meters, or how many, like what's the volume of the stuff that we are talking about. So you first have to decide what I'm going to keep, what I'm going to move, and what I'm going to leave behind, or what I'm going to get rid of. And then there are actually 3 options, I think, when it comes to moving stuff. So the first option is actually the cheapest option, that is renting a car yourself. This is of course only an option if you can drive from your home country to Norway. If you're moving all the way from Australia, then it's obviously this is not an option for you. So if you have like a regular driver's license B, then you can rent a car or like a small truck up to 3,500 kilograms, which gives you actually a fair amount of space. Like you can find little trucks that go up to 20 cubic meters. So there's quite a lot of stuff that can go in it. It's limited though, but there's there is actually a lot that you could do yourself. So if you choose this option, this is the cheapest option, but there are some things you have to take in mind. Like for example, you will have to move, like you will have to go and rent a truck, then you will have to fill the truck yourself. So you might have to ask help from like family and friends to help move all your stuff into this truck. You will also maybe have to rent like a moving elevator if you live on an apartment like we did, for example. Then you will have to drive the car all the way up to Norway. Then you will have to calculate enough time. You have to drive there. You have to unload the truck again by yourself. And then you have to think about, okay, I'm moving to this new country. I don't know anybody there. So there's not like, I think there's a level of closeness you have to be with people before you can ask them to help you move. So you have to calculate that you will maybe have to unload this truck all by yourself. And then you have to calculate enough time to drive it back, because you will have to leave the truck again where you rented it. So this was actually our original plan. And a very smart thing to do is just find two friends or two family members who are willing to just help you out with the whole process, who will drive together with you in this truck to Norway, who will help you unload it, and then these people can drive the truck back and you can stay behind in Norway. This gives you a lot more space and gives you help with the unloading, and it also makes sure that maybe you can drive a car at the same time. The only reason we did not do this is actually because of COVID. We moved in the middle of the pandemic, and this was just practically impossible for us to plan this out. So we decided to go to the second option that I'm going to give you now, and that is actually to just hire a moving company. This is the most obvious choice, actually. It does cost a bit of money, but I think if you look at the advantages you get when you choose this option, it is totally worth it. Because these people, they will drive to your home, they will help you fill this truck, they will have like an elevator you can use, and then they will take over the logistics. So you can just move independently from them, which gives you a lot of breathing space in the sense of, okay, I want to move with a car, or I want to relocate myself comfortably without having to think about a truck full of furniture, because they will handle that situation. They will also help you with the administration, because you will have to fill like, if you move anything, you have to fill in like a document for border control, and they will help you navigate this administration. And then when the truck arrives in Norway after like a week or so, for us it took a week, then these people will actually help you unload the truck. And this was, for us, this was the biggest help we could possibly get. I will also link in the description below, I will link the company that we used, because I can actually highly recommend them. If you're moving around from the same area as we come from, we moved from Belgium, but close to the Dutch border. So if you're around this area, I think you should check them out. And then the third option is to actually rent like a shipping container, and then either fly the shipping container or put it on a boat and move it to Norway. If we spoke back in the day that we were thinking of planning this moving, we spoke to different people who moved to different countries, and we heard some opinions about what is the best way to go moving things. And this is actually the option that we heard the most about. This is what we heard that most people did when they moved somewhere. They just rented like a container. This is also the most expensive option, and it is also the most logistically difficult option, because this container, there will have to be arranged transport for this container to your home. It has to be filled. Then this container has to be transported to the airport or the harbor from where it's going to leave. Then it has to be shipped, and then again you have to arrange some transport for this shipping container to be moved again from the harbor or the airport close to your new home all the way to your new home. So this is quite an operation. So it is probably also the only option you have if you move from overseas or a place very far away. So you will have to look into this option. I think it's the only thing you can really choose. But I would highly recommend to do it with like a company that will help you navigate the logistics, who will take over the whole process. Because I can't imagine how difficult this is to plan this yourself. I will link below 2 websites with 2 options, but if you just Google this in your language, then you will find tons of companies who offer this kind of services. And like I quickly mentioned a few minutes ago, if you move your stuff or the furniture into Norway, you will have to fill in like a border control document. And this is basically a list of, okay, this is a list of all my stuff. You give like a number to everything, like this box of clothes is number 1, and then you write, you put like a sticker on the box that says number 1, and then on the list you'll have number 1, and that's box of clothes, you know. You have to do it for all your stuff, like box 17, that's my television, and like numbers 20 to 24 are chairs and stuff like that. You will have to make a whole list. And then we also have to like sign a document that says that you're not moving illegal stuff, that you're not like trying to get out of paying like customs on the alcohol that you're moving, and that you're not like taking like, they have to sign a document that you're like following the rules, right? But if you are hiring a company, either for like a shipping container or for like just a regular moving truck, let's read it, they will help you take care of this logistics. They know the process. They will just give you like, fill this document and then sign here and sign there. It's very easy. But if you're just like moving with a car full of boxes, or you're renting a truck yourself, just make sure that you download this document, that you fill it in correctly. I will link below the link to where you can find this document. It's actually really important. And also in my memory, like taking care of this logistics and like filling in this list while I was packing my boxes, it almost took as long as packing. So keep in mind that this is actually quite an important part of the process of physically moving your stuff to Norway, like trying to fill in like this administration. So to summarize very quickly, you have to follow the rules for importing foods, alcohol, and plants. You have to check this out, what are the rules and what can I take with me. Then you have 3 options to move. You can either rent a truck, you can hire a moving company, or you can rent a shipping container. And then you have to make sure that you fill in the correct document or the correct administration upon your move. So I hope you found this interesting, and I will see you in the next video.